All right. Hello. I'm
Hello,
Austin. That's
I'm
Khalil.
Khalil.
See?
That's me.
Told you. So, with that being said, we're staying in the media kick because that's what our lives is. And what we're going to talk about this time is la musica. So,
In UA.
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one due to the fact that I have no idea how this conversation's gonna go. I'm gonna learn country. Khalil over here is gonna be from down south and obsessed with banjo music, but
Bluegrass, baby.
bluegrass and anti
Hell
soul.
yeah.
Um,
Anti-soul. I guess I did sell mine.
there you
So
go.
what's up
My
now,
Kia
Kyle?
soul. So yeah, I think there's gonna be some similar questions to the last few episodes because when you talk about media, a lot of them relate. It's just more the form of media that you're talking about. So some of the questions will be familiar. They're longer this time, but that's to allow for bigger conversations. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, we only have four written down, but these four will, probably unfold multiple at the same time. So here, Clue, I'm gonna read you how it's stated in one. Our first on the show sheet says earliest memory of music and first concerts or albums. Was the first song or album that left a lasting impression on you? How do your friends and family influence? So it's kind of like that big like what's the things you remember early on in music, and then after you answer those kind of questions, it's asking you more or less like how do you think your music came to be what it is. So let's see.
Right.
Do you remember the first non-nursery rhyme song you remember?
First non-nursery rhyme song. See that, and that was I was gonna ask about that. It's like, are we gonna just skip over nursery rhymes
Oh,
because I don't think those
100%.
really count. Um. So, uh, the first that I heard, I don't remember the first that I heard. So before I continue, do you remember the first that you heard?
I'm not doing heard because there's no way to get that right. I'm saying like
Okay,
what's the first
but
song you remember?
early. Oh yeah, that I'm sorry. What's the first one that you remember? That's what I meant to say. Because I don't know.
um
I don't know if I remember the first one that I've heard, but I know like the ones like that. That really formed my like childhood, so to speak.
yeah.
So like I grew up listening to a lot of Bob Marley.
Mhm.
Um so like I have a lot of memories of hearing uh like like three of the albums really come to mind when I think of Bob Marley, and there's like four songs that really just kind of I don't know are cemented in my brain when I think of my childhood and just like
Okay.
being in the car and hearing. Um I think like I know one of them was like the Tough Gong album. Tough Gong had what War on it. Um, it was So Much Trouble in the World. Um, Crazy Bald Heads. I think that's the earliest memories I have of music.
Okay.
Be yeah.
Interesting. For me, it would be kind of I can think of like three, maybe four songs that really come to mind, which would be "Don't Stop Believin'" by Journey, um, I think Main Street by Bob Seger, Stay Fly by the Big Timers, and Devil Went Down to
Hmm.
Georgia. I think those are like the four songs I remember like knowing before any other songs.
Interesting. Okay.
I think those would be
We
high up on that list.
see if you all couldn't tell, we have very different exposure to music
Which is funny because then they end up diverging into the same exact things.
and to the same things. Um, I like to think about like what else my parents listened to because like
Yeah.
a lot of what I heard was just what my parents were listening to, whether it be the
Oh,
radio
I
or
think that's
CDs.
just growing up. It's the
Yeah,
whole environment versus the people. So it's like your environment's definitely going to raise you. And so like here's an example. So Khalil and I think our next goal would be list what your parents listen to. So you go ahead because you were already on that track.
yeah. So I was actually gonna say my mom was big into R&B, and then my dad was big into hip hop.
Hmm. What were your
So I
parents'
grew up
favorites growing up? Do you think?
growing up. See, my mom was definitely really into Destiny's Child,
I mean, who wasn't? Good
right?
group.
Um, really into them. And then Beyonce once she split off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else? Who else can I remember by name? Erica Badu was one. So like today, I love Erica Badu.
As do I.
Um, for my dad, hard to say because I know he definitely liked Run DMC, but as a kid, I had no idea like who the hip hop artists were. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why. I couldn't. I wasn't told their names. Run DMC is the only one I remember because like the songs would be like Run DMC. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I know this one, right? It's like, oh, this is Run DMC with Aerosmith. I know
Yeah,
this.
I know that song. I know the exact song you're talking about.
So
Um,
yeah, but it's like but like now it's like I listen to quite a bit of 90s hip hop, some of the 80s and the early 2000s, but I was like, oh, I know this song. It's like, that's who this was the entire time. Like, oh, okay, you know.
yeah, that's a good point. I think it was funny because for my parents, like my mom, when I was growing up, listened to like Michigan musicians. So she was huge into Bob Seger, Kid Rock, Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
All like my mom's if you're from the same state as her, she loves you, and so she was really into all three of
Interesting.
them. Um, and then besides that, my mom, when I was really young, was really into rap. So that's where I get a lot of my early exposure to rap was through my mom, whether it was because she had like CDs of everyone she loved, because my mom was a big physical media person like I was for a long time. And so
Mm-hmm.
in my life growing up, we had NWA CDs, Eazy-E CDs, Nate Dogg CDs, which explains a lot about me now. Um,
Yep.
Big Timers, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. So my mom was like actually into rap, like full on. And then, but at the same time, when I was getting older, probably around like late elementary school, my mom hit a big shift. And like, I have no fear in talking about this. It definitely has a lot to do with like mental trauma, where like, she grew up in the type of lifestyle and settings that she did, which definitely influenced her rap view of life. But as she grew
Mm-hmm.
away from the lifestyle she was raised from, she really started adopting like this like Michigan country version of herself, where like she was obsessed with like farms in Michigan and became kind of like a fan of country music. And so like there was a bunch of country coming from her house constantly after I like went into middle school. My mom pretty much became a country only fan. She likes some
That's
rock too.
that's how that's how I remember your mom as when we were in middle school
Yeah. It's like so
to
funny
being a
how she
country
was like
fan.
this
I'm
hardcore rap person growing up and then like became a country fan. Um,
She didn't
my
swing in the direction of Madonna, though.
thank God. My dad was like a unique one where even to this day I don't really know what my dad likes. I know he loves Too Short. That's like the only rapper he like really likes. After that,
That is
he
such a
liked
funny
like the
name.
Beastie Boys and AC/DC, Kiss. He was much more like the rock style guy, but like nothing crazy like Metallica. But he wouldn't listen to people like Megadeth or anything. So it was like interesting. He would choose like lighter metal. So Metallica being like the most metal he would get. Um, that I knew of. That's like a big caveat. And then like I know he liked heavier rock like as they came around. So when I was later when we were in life, he liked Disturbed, but he didn't listen to them. Like my dad doesn't listen to music; he just enjoys it. He doesn't like really go out of his
Okay.
way to, you know what I mean? He
So,
does like rap and
yeah.
he likes rock. Those would be the two genres I would say because he'll listen to radio rap. If it's been on the radio, he'll like it. Um, and if he listens to radio rock too, where he like for a while there he's a Five Finger Death Punch guy, and then like
Okay,
so
okay. Fair.
it's not like he ever had bad taste, but it was very mainstream rap and rock,
Okay.
and he
Yeah,
definitely is
you're
more a rock
I
now.
okay. I know like knowing your parents, I never could quite get a read on what kind of music your dad listened to.
Radio
And
rap
I
and radio
like
rock for sure.
yeah. Yeah. When
He
you
went to
first meet him,
Kiss
you were like,
concerts.
really?
Yeah,
How
he also went to an Insane Clown Posse concert when he was 16, and he took me to one when I was 16 to make a full circle memory moment.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Neither of us are fans of the Insane Clown Posse anymore, but we both have like
Anymore, yeah.
albums we like by them. So, yeah, no, and it's
That's the
like
early
that's
stuff.
exactly what I remember about your parents too. Your mom and I connected a lot on soul because I would like Boyz II
Yeah.
Men and Destiny's Child and all them type of groups, and so she loved that I liked them. And I knew your dad liked rap, and I know he probably listened to some Nas at some point.
I would imagine so.
So
And
that makes sense for your parents.
Because you know what? Like, I'll hear like early Nas and be like, "Oh my god, I know that song."
Yeah.
So yeah, like somebody was listening to it.
Yep,
That's
no,
for
I
sure.
got those vibes from your parents right away. And then as we got older, your mom kind of liked anything joyful because children.
Yeah.
So happy music was always good.
Mm.
Which is why I liked
Oh,
certain Bruno Mars songs, because your family liked them and you hated them, and I liked that you hated them, so I liked them more.
it did. Listen, anything popular, straight hate. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. By
No,
the way.
I mean that's how we were in middle
Please don't-
school.
That's that. I mean, that is how you are in middle school.
Exactly.
It's true. It's true. But you know what? So my family is interesting. So for those of you who don't know, we are my family is Muslim. And so like growing up, I also heard a lot of music in Arabic as well. So there might be some of you who watch this video and you'll know the names Sami Yusuf. My family were big Sami Yusuf fans. Just inspired by music inspired by Islam. We listened to that a lot as kids.
My mom liked Creed.
Creed.
That's my response. Creed's a Christian metal band. Fun fact.
Okay, I know. So I don't.
We
I feel
are
like,
wide open.
I feel like I do know Creed, but the ones I know more of are Skillet.
Oh, I forgot that they're like Christian.
Yeah, Skillet, and there was another one.
You know Creed,
Oh.
Arms Wide Open. Can you take me higher? To a place where anyway,
Sounds vaguely familiar.
you gotta listen to some
Wait,
Creed when we hang up.
Wait, I think it was Skillet that did the song Monster.
Yes.
And I remember my youngest brother was so into that song.
I actually remember that too.
I showed it to him one time and he went with it. I mean, he was like, he stanned that song so hard to the point where he was like looking up different animated music videos to the song, and it would just be playing all the time.
I love it.
Oh,
I love
my
it so
goodness.
much. So here, kind of fast forward this conversation a little bit. Well, I actually know Khalil's first concert because I took them.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that in a second. My first concert was... It was like a big country guy for like the mid 2000s, because like my mom won tickets on a radio station to like this big event at...
Whoa, wait. She actually won tickets?
Yeah. And
That's
like
crazy.
we'll call
I've
it
never
Pine
known
Knob
anybody.
because we're in that generation, but DTE Music
Okay.
Theater is what it's called nowadays. But we won tickets to go to Pine Knob and see like this country fair. And so that was the first concert I ever went to, but the first concert I ever went to that I wanted to go to was a really sick one, where it became actually a tradition where when I turned around like maybe 12, I think maybe in the first year, my mom would buy me a ticket, 2 tickets to a concert that I wanted to go to growing up. And the first ever concert I went to that I liked was when she bought me and Ryan, our friend, tickets to Avenged Sevenfold. And we went and saw the Nightmare Tour. That's either first or second.
Fun fact, I was meant to go on that one, but my mom would not let me because it was a Sunday.
Yeah. And so that's a
I
whole
remember
thing.
that. I was so
Yeah.
disappointed. I
I remember my mom driving the wrong direction for half of our way there, and then she not realizing that she was going the wrong direction, and made Ryan's really strict dad wait at a gas station that he didn't know where he was for like way too long, and he got really mad about it. But then in the end, it was fine because like, what are you gonna do?
Right. Oh my
But
god. That's
if
so
that
funny.
wasn't my first, because these were like, it was year 1 and year 2. Like I can never remember which one was first, but if it wasn't my Avenged Sevenfold concert, the first concert would have been Bullet for My Valentine, Stone Sour, so Slipknot's Corey Taylor's his other band. Avenged Sevenfold was there as well, and then one more like big band that I can't remember right now. But I saw that at like this like also at an outside amphitheater. It might have been DT. It definitely was Pine Knob. Never mind. So those are my first two concerts. So I just don't know which one was first. But Avenged Sevenfold was at both regardless. So I'm going to say Avenged Sevenfold is the answer.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
My first.
I took Khalil to their first concert. You talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So first concert that I ever went to, which was quite exciting, and this was still during COVID, wasn't it?
No. It was like 2020. 21 maybe. It was for sure like 21.
It was like the tail end where vaccines were finally out.
We wore masks, but not everyone did. Like it was was during that taper off period where like half the population was still wearing masks.
Yep. We went to go see Tech N9ne at the what theater was that?
That one was either the Fillmore or at the Fox. They're on the same street.
Okay. Yeah, so we went to go see Tech N9ne.
It was at Fox because we parked right at Comerica Park, which is where the Tigers play.
Okay. That was a really good experience. We get there, Austin starts talking to some random
there's a reason why I started talking
they weren't random, they were fans. They were going to the concert too, and Austin was talking to them. That was cool. I was much more shy then, so I was just like not talking.
Well, I started talking to him because my car died.
Oh my god, that's right.
We got to the concert, and I kid you not, people listening or watching.
That's right.
I looked at Khalil about 10 minutes before we got to the concert, and I was like, dude, my car's dying. I can feel it. And Khalil's like, what? And I'm like, well, just hold on. Like, we'll get there, but we got to make sure somebody jumps us before we leave the show. And we literally pull into the parking lot. As I'm like final turning into the parking spot, the car dies, and I had to neutral float it into the spot. So I was like, let's go make some friends. So the people we were talking to, I was just buddying up with. So that way when we left, I could be like, all right, we can ask them when we leave now because we've talked to somebody. So I literally was like talking to them, blah, blah, and we're all walking into the stadium together. And I just kind of jokingly mentioned, I was like, oh, yeah, by the way, my car died on our way here. So if you guys see us after the show, if you got jumper cables, let me know, like laughing it off. And later they ended up being the people that jumped our car for us. But
that's right. I totally forgot about that part.
I am a social person, but normally I wouldn't just socialize with a random person. I was literally doing it for my advantage.
Oh my goodness! And then on the way back, didn't your power steering go out?
Yeah, and then that became a permanent problem with that car where the power steering would just go out.
What a night! What a night!
Because that was also one of Tech's smaller shows. Like he's past his apex of fame. His biggest touring would have been around KOD. Now this is a little nerdy for non-Tech fans, but like he around like 2000 and so between KOD and All Sixes, All Sevens were his biggest shows. He could sell out like huge arenas during that time. Ever since he's kind of went back down in popularity, he's still big, but concerts have gone down in popularity as well.
Once you become one of the older artists, you get less people coming to your shows.
You have more people listening and just and so he's got a lot of listeners, not too many active people who would be willing. He doesn't have a younger crowd as much anymore, so it's like his shows are smaller. And I think this was the perfect size show for Khalil. I think if it was an amphitheater show, like a large sellout one, it would have been not as cool, not as comfortable. So I think this was like the perfect. We did standing room. Tech has mosh pits, not luckily violent ones. Like it's not like a metal mosh pit because I've went to a lot of metal concerts in my life and been in way too many violent mosh pits. Got a concussion at one time and sun poisoning in the same show. So that was something.
What kind of poisoning?
Sun.
Oh, sun poisoning.
It was an outdoor all-day metal festival.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. Nope, not me.
And so that was it was awesome. So yeah, that was Khalil's first concert. It was a really cool Tech N9ne show.
Got to also see King ISO.
King ISO was there. There was one other guy that was like King more smaller than even ISO, but
I know Ritz was there too.
Ritz was there. Ritz had a small set, and I don't care about Ritz at all. So
yeah.
So yeah, that was Khalil's first. Mine was Avenged Sevenfold with a bunch of other bands, or Avenged Sevenfold. Who opened for Avenged Sevenfold was sick. It was Ghost, which is now a big metal band, and our friend Nick, like one of his favorite bands is Ghost.
Really?
I don't know if I want to use the word favorite, but yeah, he really enjoys them. So that was pretty cool that I saw them before he ever knew who they were, actually, because they had just started out when I saw them live opening for Avenged Sevenfold, hence them being the openers. So the next question would be talking about what's like the first album that made a big impact on you in your life, if you can think of it.
Well, I have a song for sure.
Okay, tell me the song then.
Okay, and I mentioned it. I mentioned this song earlier, and it's actually "War" by Bob Marley.
Oh, dude, that song kicks butt.
That song, every time I hear that song, it's just like the most powerful. This is the most powerful thing that my ears could hear. It is like every time I hear him, like this just rings so true. Even 50 years after this song came out, and it sounds good. I think the music with the lyrics it's moving. It is so moving. As for album, that's a good one. I don't know. I think it would probably still be. Oh wait, hold on. Probably tie between Songs of Freedom by Bob Marley. That's a really good album. That's like his early stuff, and it's just like, just really, it's just like really feel good music. It's like you just listen to it, relax. Erykah Badu. I'm forgetting the album title. It's not Philosophy. What's the other one?
First song, there's two, which I actually already mentioned both as well, which is Devil Went Down to Georgia and Still Fly by the Big Tymers. Still Fly by the Big Tymers is probably my favorite song of all time, like without a doubt, so that makes sense. Devil Went Down to Georgia is one of those songs that I just like. I like narrative, and the fact that I was like young enough where I was just like, I didn't realize that was something all artists could do, and I was like, he's just telling a story. So I was really obsessed with that song growing up because of that. I thought that was so cool. I was like, he's beating up the devil.
He's beating up the devil
in a music contest.
I remember the Erykah Badu album now. It's Baduism. It's her first one.
There you go.
and that one is just again, it's just like, it's good soul, okay? It is good for the soul. You listen to that and you're just like, man, I need to listen to that again.
Yeah. I tried to see what was the first albums that I bought on iTunes, because iTunes was big when we were kids. I know the first ever song I bought was the song Centerfold, which is just like a really old rock song about like a guy being obsessed with a hot woman. And I didn't understand that yet. I just like the sound of the music, so I remember buying it so I could hear it all the time.
I do not remember the first song that I bought on iTunes, but I do remember having like just getting into like Damian Marley, so I had a couple of his songs on iTunes. I had some others that I think I had, like Black Eyed Peas as well.
So here's the thing: Black Eyed Peas are actually good, so that's awesome.
Yes, my music taste didn't really like solidify until high school.
So I was just about to say that, because like when we were talking about songs, my songs don't change. I actually still like both of those songs. When I say like the first album that left an imprint on me, because there's a difference. My first ever album I owned probably would have been a Bob Seger album, because I really did like Bob Seger growing up because of my mom, and actually he is just a good musician. So I remember like having a Bob Seger and a Creed, and then like I think my like second or third CD I ever owned was whichever one Justin Timberlake was in. So I think NSYNC.
Okay.
I had like two NSYNC CDs because that was the era of boy bands. And I actually liked them. I have no fear in admitting that. But my first album to make like a lasting impact on me, Psychosocial by Slipknot, or Avenged Sevenfold's self-titled Avenged Sevenfold.
That's a good one.
Like those two albums are probably the first CD or albums I owned that were like, I was like, yeah, this is because of me. Nobody like introduced me to these bands. I found these. I also had two Limp Bizkit CDs growing up from my mom, and those kicked butt, because I still to this day like vintage Limp Bizkit. The first two albums are just really good.
I was gonna say, fun fact: the first album that I ever owned myself was a Lil Bow Wow CD. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, I also remember when we were in middle school, so probably 6th grade, maybe 7th. My dad did not want to buy it for me, but he eventually did for Christmas. I got the original Hannah Montana CD.
Oh, you told me this story. You
Yeah,
told
I
me this
have it.
story. Yeah.
So I don't own it
Yep.
anymore. I wish I did. That's a vintage piece of media I wish I still owned. That'd be sweet. So that's probably the first album I asked for by name was the Hannah Montana, but I had other CDs because of my mom giving them to me or buying them for me, and which I said would be like the, Limp Bizkit, Creed, Bob Seger. But my first ones that were like to me would be like Slipknot, Psycho Social. Avenged Sevenfold, self-titled Avenged Sevenfold came out first, so it's got to be that one. So that's what I was about to move into is like I had a cousin Tyler who was older than me. He's definitely the one that introduced me to Slipknot and those heavier bands like that. And then our friend Chris, his older brother introduced me to Hollywood Undead, and I remember liking them a lot. And then my dad and mom both accidentally introduced me to the Insane Clown Posse, which led me to find Tech N9ne.
Let's see, there you go. So I remember, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Nick. I would go to his house, and every once in a while we would play Rock Band. Okay, so then I went from Rock Band to getting Guitar Hero, and Guitar Hero is where I ended up like finding, learning about bands like Disturbed. And
Yeah, because
Korn
you were a
and
big
Slipknot.
Disturbed fan.
I was a huge Disturbed fan.
Korn's good. I'm not as big of a Korn person. Slipknot and Disturbed, love them. Go ahead, continue.
I love their older stuff. Their newer stuff is okay, but so I still love Disturbed. So I went from that, and then from like you and our friend Ryan, I learned about other bands. That's how I learned about Avenged Sevenfold. Was really into Avenged Sevenfold. Still love Avenged Sevenfold. I'm trying to think of who else. Who else did I get into? I think from there I started finding more.
Music was
genre,
more becoming accessible during our time in middle and high school.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing that we need to like give a little focus to, which is like iTunes popped off when we were in 6th grade, 7th or 5th grade earliest. Like, so that allows you to be exposed to more music than ever before.
And there was Pandora during this time as well.
That's true. I had Pandora.
By using Pandora, I found so many more bands, and that's what literally solidified my music taste during that time. And I was going towards the heavy rock metal.
Yeah.
But then you also you introduced me to Tech N9ne.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it was like at that period in time, I was like, yeah, hip hop, rap, that's okay. Didn't really care for it that much. But then Tech N9ne, I was like, yes, I'm going down this road. And today it's like I love Tech N9ne. I listen to Tech N9ne probably the most.
Oh yeah, Tech N9ne has been my number one artist on Spotify every single year since I started using Spotify, which was in high school.
And I don't know, it's like lately, I don't know, getting older, you're just full of nostalgia. So like I've been going down the rabbit hole of like 90s 2000s rap.
It
so
doesn't help that you lived with me for 2 years, and that might be the genre of music I listen to the most. So
there's also that. So that would be you and my dad just influencing my music taste right now. That's just where I'm at. Every once in a while, I still go back, listen to some Disturbed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because before you were into like, there was like an interesting time in Khalil's life where like the music that I associated Khalil with in high school, like beginning, not by the end, but in the beginning, you could talk to like people, and I'd be like talking about me and my friends. I'd be like, oh yeah, my friend Ryan, myself, and my friend Khalil all listened to Avenged Sevenfold and Disturbed. And then I'd be like, my friend Khalil and I listened to Tech N9ne and Bob Marley. And then my friend Nick and I listened to like J. Cole. So Khalil was like, funny category where Khalil liked, and I wouldn't say Tech N9ne to other people normally. I'd be like, yeah, Khalil likes Disturbed, the Marley family in general, and some random soul stuff. And so it was like, that's like what you were in my head in the beginning of high school, and then you expanded a lot more during high school.
Well, going earlier than high school, middle school, like, I was still listening to Bob Marley, listening to a bit of Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, and then whatever my parents would listen to as well. The other part of that, though, was in middle school, without having a real identity around music, I was just listening to what everyone else was listening to.
Yeah.
Whatever was popular, that's what I would try to listen to. Um, I think about that time. So every once in a while, I was like, that was such a weird time. You like forming your identity during those years.
Yeah.
Is more than just your personality, who you're gonna be as an adult. But it's like finding just your taste in music is weird.
Absolutely. I for sure. But yeah, I definitely think, and you said something earlier that I want to beckon back to, which is this idea that I had this conversation with Khalil recently. I've had this conversation with our friend Nick recently. I even had it, I think, with my dad recently, where it's like, I find it so funny when I was growing up, I would always hate on old people for not liking anything new. They'd always just like what they liked in high school or in their early 20s. I'd rag on them as a child. I'd be like, you're so lame. Like, how do you not like new stuff? You got to expand and like blah blah. And then in like high school into college, I was like, and I hate saying this, to sound so pretentious, but I was like a music guy. People would ask me what I'm listening to. I would create playlists for people to find new artists. Like, I was the dude that like I'd post constantly on my Snapchat or Instagram stories, and people would swipe up and be like, dude, thanks, I listened to this. This kicks butt. Like, hell yeah. And so that would encourage me to do it more. And like, I even got to the point where like, not in high school, but definitely in college, I was like that person that was like, I was on the search for smaller artists. I was like, who's underground? Who's not, because I wanted to like be known as that, because like I loved expanding. I liked finding people who could hit different emotions, whether it was with the music or their lyrics or their music videos is a big part of my music flavor. As I'm huge, not anymore, but I would like from high school into college, I loved music videos. I'd watch every single music video of a song that I liked if I could. And so a smaller artist, that's a good way to get to know them, is through what do they want to visually represent. And so, but now that I am 28, turning 29 this year, you will not find me listening to new music. It's so hard for me to care about a new artist. It's just, it feels like such an investment of time and emotion and effort. I like what I like, and I'm finally okay with that, and I finally understand adults when I was growing up.
For sure, for sure. Like I'm so in the dark about who is up and coming, and I cannot bring myself to go and listen to their stuff. I just can't. I'm just
it's hard.
It's like, or I'll hear it and like, it's not even bad.
No,
it's just it's not for me.
I can like it and just be like, I'm not coming back to it though.
Exactly.
It's That's so really funny how that works. Here, I like this ending question of part 1, and it's probably, we're gonna have to bleed into part 2 and 3 a little bit quicker. Part 3 is super deep. We might have to just skip that for this, but in part 1 there is a question about like, can you recall a specific moment in music that significantly impacted your mood or perspective? There's 1,000 answers to that, but I have one, which is when we were in high school still, and I want to check the exact year because this really matters. And so this would have been, this album came out in 2011. That's what I thought. Our like bleeding into our second year of high school. It would have been first and second year of high school. When Tech N9ne dropped all 6s, all 7s. I remember the day that it came out, I was like waiting up until midnight so I could buy the album on iTunes and download it to my iPhone at that time, probably 7. And in my thick ass yellow and gray OtterBox casing. This is with the cover built in on it. Like things. So specific memory because how important this is. Bought it, went to bed. I was like, I'm so tired. Let's listen to it in the morning. The next morning, I didn't realize that we had a bunch of people in my stepmom's family coming over to like do a game day. I did not want to do it. So I was like a depressive teenager, super, not angsty, but like super like, I don't want to talk to people today. Like I had those days heavily. So I locked myself in my room pretty much, not literally. The door is unlocked, but I just like closed my door, put in my headphones, and listened to that album on repeat, probably unironically 5 times that day. The entire time I was doing it, playing Skate 3 on my PS3. That is a core memory that I'll never not. I know the exact feeling, positions I was sitting and laying in, like everything about it is so caked into my memory that it's actually insane. So I think that is hands down, and it made me feel better. Like I eventually went down and said hi to people after listening to the album like multiple times in a row, but like I remember that being so vital to a core memory that's for sure mine, like hands down.
I have the memory. So my one of my grandmothers and my cousins, they lived in the UP for a little while. They were living in Marquette, Michigan. So my family, we went went one winter to go visit them. And we're driving, we're in the UP, we're going just like this beautiful scenery of snow-covered trees. Just like, I don't know, the atmosphere was like real kind of, it was like a soft kind of atmosphere, and it was something that I love. I love that feeling of weather.
My God. Well, we're Michigan men.
But
come on.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to Avenged Sevenfold titled album, and I was listening to Brompton Cocktail. I just remember just getting just this like intense feeling. It was
I'm
like
just
a
playing in
really
my head now.
good feeling. Yep, it was just a really good feeling of just like this serene environment that I'm driving through with this like song that has so much emotion. I think about that time a lot. Not all the time, but I think about it a lot. That's
a good one. I like that one. I do. That's kick butt, man. Like straight up.
And just like you, I remember exactly how I was sitting in the car too.
Yeah,
so,
like it's crazy how that works. I think another one for me would be, it's also actually an Avenged Sevenfold memory. I'm trying to figure out exactly the right track. It would have been. It's on the Welcome to the it's on the Nightmare album. So I know it goes Nightmare, Welcome to Family, Dangerline. It might be Dangerline or Buried Away. It might even be Nightmare, but whichever song has that like really crazy double kick intro, like anyways, that song.
Yeah.
Ryan and I had on repeat one day at his house, just seeing because Ryan could kind of play the drums. He got better over time, but when this was happening, he was just trying to learn how to play them, I believe, because he was much more of a guitarist. And yeah. I never had played the drums, but I could double kick pedal like a mother. So we were trying to sit there and see who could get the closest to do the drum of that, like while listening to the song. And like that's a core memory, because then we sat down, played Nazi Zombies, Kino de Torn, and we got to like round like 64.
Yeah.
Like that's a core memory right there.
Yeah.
So like that's another one I would throw in that ring, hands down, really fast. So it's funny because like the second part of the question
kind of bleeds in.
Go ahead.
That kind of bleeds into the second.
That's what I was saying. Is second. I didn't even realize that question two is asking. It's asking us to describe how songs match certain memories. So never mind. We just talked about that. We can even move on.
We just talked about that.
Which song do you consider to be the soundtrack to your youth, and why is crazy? So that could be an album or a song. If it was song for me, buddy, I was trying to think about this earlier because I had so many songs I was obsessed with, and for my childhood, it'd probably be like Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, Psychosocial, Slipknot. There's a couple rap songs I'm trying to think of which one would be at the top there. Because in high school and middle school, I listened to a lot of like middle school is when I was still into ICP, and thank God I grew out of that. But so none of their songs would have been it. But I also listened to like a lot of Lil B, Waka Flocka Flame. I listened to a lot of Ludacris. What?
Austin. My family was just here, and I was I was telling my mom, my youngest brother, about the time you were in the car with us, and my youngest brother Zach was there. Hey, you got him to say thank you, bass God.
Oh, thank you, bass God.
Yes. And you had the video.
I used to have the video.
I was telling him about this memory, and I was like, this is lost media that was just so good, and I'm so sad that we lost that video.
With his little car seat with his little fro. Thank you, big God.
I will never forget that. Oh my goodness.
So
as for my soundtrack to my youth, that is a really good question. I don't know if I can pick one.
Yeah, I don't know if I could pick a song or an album. I think I'd go more with artist, which would be like Lil B and Waka Flocka Flame were the soundtracks of my youth.
Mm-hmm.
I had them on constant repeat.
I think it's for me. Like I think in high school I listened to more Avenged Sevenfold than Disturbed at that time.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like back and forth between Bob Marley and Avenged Sevenfold. So I'm gonna have to go with those two. For album, I don't really know actually.
Mine for album was all sixes, all sevens.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that
Yeah.
came out in
That makes sense
2011,
after
so
what
that
you.
was all of high school. I didn't put that album down once.
No. No. It's a good album.
It
That's a
is.
great album.
Middle school would have
I
been
love
Insane
it.
Clown Posse and Beastie Boys. So I haven't given them enough credit, by the way. Cleo
I have.
understands, but like
I
the amount of
meant. I
Beastie
meant to
Boys I
mention
listen
Beastie
to,
Boys.
yeah, like I listen to a lot of, still even
Because
today.
like just like real fun fact, like my uncle, my cousins and my siblings, we would ride around with my uncle, and he would be blasting Beastie Boys, and it was just such a good time.
Oh, the
Such
soundtrack
a
of my
good
youth
time.
was Brass Monkey by the Beastie Boys. I didn't understand it was about alcohol,
That's so funny.
and I listen to that song
I didn't know
unironically
that.
daily,
That's so funny.
like daily.
Oh
I can't
my
believe I
God.
didn't think
actually
about
did
that.
not know
That just
song
as
was-
soon as it came in my mind, that's so obvious. I should have thought about oh my god, that Beastie Boys, Brass Monkey. The next one's hard. That we probably would have needed to pregame this one. The next one is asking which particular
Oh, yeah.
lyric resonates with you. I mean, there's so many. Khalil and I were such
There's so
emotional
many.
children. Like
we were.
so
We
that
were.
we were both, and it's not unique. It's gonna feel unique because we only have our own perspectives. But I was such the kid that like if I listened to a song that had any sort of even the smallest amount of depth in its lyrics, I was like hand on a raining glass window, staring out into the distance type emotion feeling constantly. So like I would have 1,000 million answers for that freaking question. So I don't even think we should try. I think we'll get so caught up on that, dude. And we've actually just talked about the second part of question. We murdered it. We flew through number 2. All right.
Yeah, let's go.
So question 3 is like huge.
Big ups.
I don't think we have time to talk about that. I'm 40 minutes into
No.
recording, so
No, we do not have time for this question.
let's
This
talk
question goes
about just
deep.
kind of music in general real quick then, because like question 4 is not really like poignant. It's more like the idea of just like, you know, now that you're older, like it's kind of like what does it mean to you? I mean it means a lot to everyone, but like this idea of like I like one question I put in here, which is like maybe I deleted it. Oh no, yeah, it's this one. Is there a song that you, your friends, or your family will always sing along to, and what does it mean to you? I think this is a beautiful question. And with my mom, it's anything Bob Seger. With my dad, it's anything Beastie Boys or Metallica. With you, it's anything Tech N9ne. With Nick, it's anything that's like early 2000s, mid 2000s, Lil Wayne. With like my cousin Brandon, it's gonna be things like Cage the Elephant, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked type beat, and like, you know what I mean? Like these matter to me. Like it feels so small because in granular scheme it is, but like honestly, it's so important to me to like think about the fact that I know with my friends and family what I'm gonna be putting on, and like with Holly,
Right.
the answer is Bartender by T-Pain. Like, that is going to be played at our wedding. It'll probably be our
Like-
first dance song because I met her as my bartender,
funny.
and every time I visited her,
Oh,
once we
yeah.
started crushing on each other, unironically, the first 3 times I went to her work as a bartender, that song came on.
That is so funny. I didn't know that. That is amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be reaching
That
out
is
to T-Pain
amazing.
to come to our wedding. Will it work? I don't know, but I'm definitely going to try.
Oh, right. So back in the day, I was way too shy to sing any song with anybody, even though I wanted to. So I would just be like mouthing the song. So like
With Khalil,
yeah,
that's so true. I remember you used to do that, and it used to creep me out.
Yeah, because I wasn't bold enough to do that.
I
am
understood over
now.
time,
Now-
but I remember like originally
Yeah.
being like, "Why is this
Like-
motherfucker not saying it?"
Yeah, now I'm like, all right, fine. I'm just gonna sing. I don't really care. Like, you know, I got a bad voice, whatever. It does not matter.
There's not a bad voice as long as you're
judging.
not breaking octaves. You're fine.
Exactly. So yeah, I can sing tech songs with you now. I'll put on some Avenged Sevenfold. I'm singing with you. With my mom, you know, pretty much anything Bob Marley. If there's R&B song I know, I'm gonna sing it with her. My girlfriend, I mean, Tech N9ne, we sing that all the time together.
Yeah.
With some of my siblings, I can sing Beastie Boys. We'll do that all
Heck
day.
yeah.
So yeah, I music is just powerful.
Isn't it? I think the only way I want to
Music
end
is so
this
powerful.
in general is by asking you. Now, you don't have to give five, but give me either art. Well, now I'm gonna give you both. I'm gonna let you think. I'm gonna give you some artists that I want to shout out that are most important in my life and songs. So I'm gonna start with artists, and I think artists in my life would be Avenged Sevenfold, Lil Wayne, Beastie Boys, Tech N9ne, and that fifth spot feels hard because there's a plethora of people I want to give it to. But
Right.
I'm trying to think like who really pulled me out to either like whether it's going to shows, buying tickets, buying merch, buying their albums. So I have those right there. Little B would be really high up there. So would Chris Webby for like smaller people. I don't listen to him anymore, which is crazy to say, but it's true. Nowadays in my, you know what? There's only one way to answer this. I'm just going to open my Spotify and see. Oh, I do. You know what? This is going to be a random one. I'm going to give him spot 5. Ludacris would be really high up there too for me, actually. But I'm going to give my fifth spot to a rapper I don't go out of my way to listen to him all the time, but when I do, it's for months at a time, which is E40. Because E40 is like a rapper that he's so good when it's his own track, and somehow he's even better if it's not his own track. Like, it blows my mind how he's the world's best feature artist.
That is so fair.
And so I think that'd be my artist. Here, let me do my songs real quick because it's off the top of my head. Is Big Tymers, Still Fly. Probably Welcome to the Family for Avenged Sevenfold. My favorite Tech N9ne of all time. That's really hard, actually, and I really don't know how to answer that one. So I think I actually would go with either Show Me a God or I Love Music. And then...
I Love Music is a good one.
Brass Monkey, Beastie Boys. And then one of my favorite songs of all time is because I love the group, which is Earth, Wind, and Fire. Groove Tonight is like one of my favorite songs of all time. Unironically, I freaking love that. I mean, I just love the Earth, Wind, Fire in general. Like, so, because I mean, if you don't know me, my music taste is diverse as hell. It's like I love soul, I love underground rap, I love mainstream rap, I like metal, I like dark, heavy metal stuff too. I've been to so many like real grunge metal shows in my life. I just don't talk about it. It's just like that's the part of me I keep to me. I mean, but if you look at me, you could probably tell I've been to a few metal shows. So it's funny to like how that really works out. But like I also love like house music and techno. I'm not a big dubstep guy, but like drum and bass, jungle, like don't forget, like I said earlier, I was the music guy. I listen to indie pop, I listen to regular pop. Some of my favorite genres is swing music. So literally the Rat Pack, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, all them boys, some girls back in the day, I can't remember, is it Sharon Lee? Like there's so many good. I love music that's not country, and I hate people who say that answer because it makes us sound pretentious, but that's like the one and I actually told Holly yesterday, I don't like country music, but I like Western music. Western music kicks butt. Cowboy music rocks. Like it just does, but I just don't like country.
My girlfriend has introduced me to like old country.
Well, yeah, because that's like bluegrass and like different like actual folky
like
country,
Dolly Parton.
Oh well, see, I'll listen to Dolly Parton. She's more
Dolly
like
Parton,
she's an icon. It's a little different.
Yeah, but like people from like her era. Like
Shania Twain and such.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to artists, Avenged Sevenfold. Shout Disturbed, Damian Marley. I mean, can we shout out the ones who are no longer with us? Because like, I mean, I'm a big Bob Marley fan. Rest in peace, rest in power, and DMX, rest in power again. Like, you know what I mean? So
we could keep going and talk about Biggie, Pac, like the amount of rappers I could throw on that list. Like, yeah, DMX is definitely more recently, but like Mac Miller as well.
That's why,
you know what I mean? Like, we could do that for hours. That it's unfortunate how rock and rap are the genres where people die young. DMX wasn't young
for songs,
but R.I.P.
Who wasn't young?
DMX. He was not young.
DMX. No, he was not young.
He was an old man.
So I mean, for songs, I mean, you got War. I love that one. Oh crap, I forgot the one for. Forgot one of my. Oh, hold up. Where is it? Okay, so I got Here We Go. That's Damian Marley.
Welcome to Jam Rock.
That's
Not
a
that
good
song,
song
but
too.
that's mine for Damien.
No, he's a mental giant. I think
I had a T-shirt
Tech
of that
N9ne.
growing up, and I wish I still had it. But it
Mental
was a
Giant.
medium. I love that song. It's definitely not my favorite, but it's top.
That's-
It's top 5. If it's not number 3, it's
It's-
definitely 4. Like, good song.
It's so good. Okay. This is actually Nas and Damien. Leaders. That is such a good song.
It is.
If you've never heard it, please listen to it. It's way too good.
I agree.
I think. Was that 4?
That was.
That was 4. Okay. Oh man. What's number 5? Like there's
Critically
was like a
acclaimed by
bunch-
Avenged Sevenfold. The Wild Ride by Avenged Sevenfold.
probably
10,000 Fists in the Air by Disturbed.
Disturbed. Yeah, that's a great one. I think I might like Stricken better though.
Yeah, fair.
So
I got
That's
two
my 5
things
then.
to say before we exit. First of which is, since we
Yep.
talked about it last time, here's a vintage Blade my dad found of mine under the couch in the basement today, which is crazy.
that is so funny.
There's
Wow.
the yeah, baby. But then my last thought, I'll close it with this and let Khalil say their last closing thought. I have a song that I can sing with Khalil's family anytime, any place, ever in the world, and that is Lazy by Bruno Mars.
That's so funny. Because I'm not singing it.
No, I know. Khalil's the one person in their family that hated it, and I
I'm
liked
not
it that
singing
much
it.
more because Khalil didn't like it. I'd bring it over, turn it on, blare it. That Khalil, all of their little siblings would get on it with me, and we'd be just singing our hearts out.
No. All right, here's my final piece. Music is powerful. Music is connecting. It is in our DNA as humans. We have always created music, whether it be with voices or instruments. It is who we are as creatures. So, with that being said, go and enjoy your music.
Yeah, go listen to
what
something.
you enjoy. Click off this right now, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button,
Do all
and
that.
then go listen to your music. All right.
Peace.
Leave a comment too. Peace.